Hi, I'm Parveen the Spice Queen, and I want to show you today how to make Peshwari Naan. They're the naans with all the nuts in, and they're sweet and delicious and fluffy. There's only one problem: they should come with a health warning because you could easily overdose on them. Okay, so with my kit, everything that you would need apart from the wet ingredients is in the box. So in here we have got 350 grams of strong bread flour. Okay, and in that I have the yeast. 7 grams of yeast is in there already. Then we have 25 grams of desiccated coconut, which is for the filling. We also have flaked almonds, 25 grams of flaked almonds, also for the filling. And then we have 25 grams of sultanas. And actually, when I was designing this recipe, what I didn't realize is that it doesn't contain any sugar, which is quite surprising. And the sweetness actually comes from all the fruit. So what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to blitz this fruit. Okay, so blitz it all together, and that's going to be the filling for the naan. And then I'm going to show you how to make the dough. In it goes. The thing about the naan, the recipe, is there's no measuring. I'm not a really massive fan of measuring because I'm not a baker by sort of profession, and I always find it quite stressful. So the easy thing with the kit is everything's done for you, no measuring. In it goes, and it's going to be quite loud. Give that a few blitzes. Okay. So that's it, and that's all come together now. And I'm just going to put that aside, and that's what we're going to use later on for the filling. Now back to actually making the dough itself. Just put that there. Just move this and get some space. So here we have the dough, and it already has the yeast in it and strong bread flour. In goes the dough, the whole thing. I'm going to add the water now, and what you're looking for is a thick bread-like consistency. It's 175 ml of water. Just going to add that and mix it, but a little bit of salt for seasoning, and 50 grams of yogurt. If you are vegan or don't like the taste of yogurt, you can leave the yogurt out or use a soya yogurt or a coconut yogurt. And all I'm going to do is mix that up now. In with my hands, best way to do it. If you have a bread maker, I'm sure you can use a bread maker. Make a little well, and then that's quite a messy chop. Get the kids involved if you want. And the idea is that it's going to soak up all the water. And just pour that in. I want to get in with my hands. Just give it a stir. And just move that out of the way to show you properly. There we are. Now that is going to make about 6 to 8 naan. Well, actually about 6 naan, or maybe 8 small ones, depending how apt you are at making naan. So I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'm just going to show you. So that comes together quite easily. And what I'm going to do is add a bit more water and let that rest in a dry, warm place for about 2 hours. It'll probably take me 2 hours to clean my hand. I'll see you in 2 hours. Okay, 2 hours has passed now, so my dough should have fluffed up nicely and the yeast should be doing its thing. Okay, so let's have a look. Yay! And it has. And what I can see is, let me just put some flour on my fingers. Look, that's lovely and fluffy now. Very, very, very bendy and gluteny. Actually, my son was telling me, my son's a chemical engineer, and he says, Mum, you know what gluten is, don't you? I said, I don't know. He says, gluten, it's glue. It actually glues the breads together, and bread does contain gluten. Okay, so I'm going to make a small one. It's quite springy, isn't it? Flour the surface. I find that a lot of my friends that are bakers can make these quite easily, but it takes a little while, but just keep persevering because it's worth the taste and it's worth the effort. You're going to make a little round bowl, but this, because it has the yeast, it's springy. Give it a roll, and I've created that little sphere again. What I'm going to do is pat that into the flour, pat it down, do my little thing to flatten it out. And because it does contain yeast and it does contain gluten, you find that it is quite springy. I'm just going to move that over there for a minute and show you. Need to really sort of apply a little bit of pressure with your rolling pin and just go in. Okay, so now I'm going to add the fruit in the middle. So here we have the desiccated coconut, flaked almonds and golden sultanas, and that's what's going to create the sweetness in a Peshwari naan. Okay, sprinkle in the middle. About a tablespoonful, and then what you have to do is bring in the sides. Bring it in, bring it in. And what we've done is created a little parcel for that lovely, delicious fruit. And then we have to roll it out again. Now, this is the tricky bit. Let me just turn the gas down. I don't want to burn it. This is the tricky bit because sometimes the fruit can pop through the actual flour. But you know what? I quite like that because then that caramelizes it when it touches the pan. Roll it out. You can see the fruit in there because it's sort of lump. Can you see how it's come across? It's all bumpy now. It's not smooth. Turn it over. Persevere with your first one. Just apply a bit of pressure. You can see the fruit now, can't you? Now the recipe calls for cooking it in the oven. But just so I can show you what happens, I'm actually going to cook it on top of my chapati pan. But you can bake it in the oven for 6 to 7 minutes on high. So I'm really happy with that. So I'm going to shake off all the flour. Oh, quite sticky. And put it onto the hot pan. Lovely. Look at that. I'm going to turn the gas up. Okay, remember I said earlier, sometimes you can see the fruit popping through to the dough. That's fine. Can you see there it is? There's the fruit popping through. Until I actually wrote the recipe for Peshwari Naan, I didn't know it didn't contain sugar. So I always thought the sweetness comes from the sugar. But in actual fact, the sweetness actually comes from just the fruit. So it's one of your 5 a day and just have 5. Okay, can you see that fluffing up nicely? And that's cooking. I'm going to turn it down. And this takes a little bit more TLC than a chapati. You've got to be a bit more careful, give it a bit more love, a bit more affection. But I'm happy with that. I'm going to have mine with butter. Don't know about you. Okay, if I just hold that up, can you see that's fluffier? Remember what I said about asbestos fingers? If you don't want to do this, just use tongs or a fish slice. Turn it over, and I'm happy with that. And that is starting to cook through. So if you were to cook it in the oven, you'd probably get a bit more rise in a hot oven than you do in a pan, but I just wanted to show you how it would cook. So that's done now, and you can see that it's starting to fluff up lovely. So onto the plate. I'm going to add a little bit of butter. Okay. That's lovely. Do you know what? You can smell the coconut. It just smells delicious. So that is the Peshwari Naan. Let's see how it looks like on the inside. So if I just tear that. Now I've tore into the Peshwari Naan, you can see the coconut and you can see the sultanas. And really there's only one thing for me to do, and that is just... You carry on. I'm going to carry on eating. I'm Parveen Spice Queen, and this is my Peshwari Naan.